Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Renee. A couple weeks ago I did a video introduction to canning, and we talked about everything that, the methods and the jars and the lids and the rings and all that good stuff. This time around we are going to do I'm going to explain to you about the equipment you're going to need to do your canning. So with that, let's start with the utensils that you're going to use. Now you can buy these utensils brand new if you want, or you can also get them all used, secondhand. It's just fine. Some people will give you some, especially if your friends and some of your family find out that you're going to do home canning. They're going to be excited. They're going to give you jars, lids, rings, all your, everything. I even got, all this has been given to me, with the exception of this canner. I purchased this new, and it was on sale. But anyway, with that being said, the first thing we're going to start with is the bare essentials you're going to need to do canning. And this is your jar lifter. You can see that. They come in all different colors. Some are thin. I like the heavy duty, the big thick ones. And this simply, when you put your lid on your jar, this jar lifter is just so you don't get your hands burnt. It goes right on the rim of the jar. It picks the jar up. You can put it in the water and take it out of the water without burning your hands. It's a godsend. It's very much a necessity. Okay? And the other thing that you're going to want to have is a little funnel. Now you can get them. There's different sizes. Some that clip on the outside of the jar. I just got an old one. I found it at an estate sale. $1 or so. That goes inside your jar, and that just helps so that you don't slop your jar up and make a mess on your counter. It keeps things clean. So, and you got to have it clean because you don't want your jar all dirty. And the other thing you're going to need, and this is just a little magnet wand. This, even though it's not required anymore to burn or to boil your lids, this one will pick them up out of the hot water. So you don't got to reach in there and burn your fingers. And you can just set it right on the top of your jar like so. Set it right on the top of your jar like so, and it's good to go. Also picks up the ring. Does it all for you. So mine works as dual purpose. You also need a little wand that will, a debubbler is what I call it, but I always use the end of my wand. Works perfect. You just don't want to use a metal knife or something that could chip the edges of your jar, because you're going to want to be able to reach in there and, with your wand and get your air bubbles out. So those are just a few necessities that you need for canning. You also are going to want to use a funnel or, a measuring cup or something to actually fill your jars with, which you already have in your kitchen. You don't have to buy that special. Now, that said, we're going to get to the canners, okay? I've got several of them. I've got this water bath canner, and this is for pint-sized jars. Can't use quarts in this one. This is just strictly for pints, and it's used. You can see it's well used. Anyway, and then you've got your rack in there, and that's for putting your jars in this rack so that they don't sit flat on the pot. You got to keep them up a little bit. And then this, let me put this down a little bit so you can actually see this. This rack has got handles, and it's got little grooves, if you can see that, where you can always lift it up and put it on the edge of your pan so that, the water runs off your jars. Okay? Perfect. Can't use it, can't do it without it. Sometimes, if your pan, if you might run into these, you can just get these, and if they fit in a big old stock pot that you got, you can use a stock pot. As long as you're able to cover those jars with water, because this is a water bath canner, and jars here need to be completely submerged. So, there's the small one, okay? That one, by the way, was given to me. This is my bigger one. This one is for quarts. I've got an extra rack that I keep in there because I got like 2 or 3 of these. Anyway, this is the same thing. Big old pot. I can tell this one's fairly new. And here's the rack that goes with it. Same thing. You can lift the rack on there, although I never do this with quarts. You can, but I just use my gripper and I take them right out of the water as they're done. So, but you cannot use a big pot. If you buy one of these used, you need to have a rack for it. It's a must. So that is, see how magnetic that is? That's that simple. And these are nice to have. If you don't have a water bath canner, okay, many a times I have used my pressure canner just for a water bath canner, which means I don't attach the lid or the weight or anything like that. I just use it, sometimes I just go like so and just leave it like that and use it for a water bath. Works just fine in a pinch. Anyway, this is a big pressure canner. Okay, this is a 22 quart Miro pressure canner. This one is from 1972. It's all stainless, it's very heavy, and I love it. This has got a different kind of rack. The rack, it doesn't have handles on it. This just sits in the bottom. It's got a little lip on it so that it keeps your jars off the bottom of your pan. Okay, this is a very simple part. The lid, however, many people have these and they're exactly not sure what all they're for. The lid on this, mine, is old and it's very simple. This is your vent pipe. Okay? On your vent pipe. Hold on a minute. I gotta put my jigglers out of here. On your vent pipe, that is where your weighted jiggler. Now on my jiggler, because I do not have a gauge on here, I've got a weight that has 5, 10, and 15 pounds of pressure. And you use that according to your recipe to whatever you're canning. And it will just sit, whichever you need, it will just sit on the top of your, see how loose it is? It will just sit on the top of that vent pipe and it will move around and it will jiggle. This one will lift up and allow steam to escape, a pressure to escape, to keep the pot regulated. Okay? Also, this is like an overflow plug. Overflow pressure plug. If it gets too full of pressure, if it gets, how would I say this? If this canner builds up too much pressure in it for the jiggler, this overflow will blow out and it will release this little spot right here, and it will release all the pressure in your canner. And you'll of course have to replace it. This is your gasket that goes in the lid of your pressure canner. Okay? That goes in the lid. This is what creates an airtight seal so that your canner will build pressure and operate the way it's supposed to. Alright, so that is a gaugeless canner. Now here is a canner with the gauge. Let me lift this up a little bit. This is a canner with a gauge. You can see the gauge. Alright, I will take you through this one. Same thing. The only difference is it's got a gauge. I've got extra. Always got extra. This is a big one. This is a 22 quart one as well. This probably is pretty close to the same age as the other one. You've got your rack that goes in the bottom, and of course a spare. You don't use 2 of them in it, you just need 1. And that's got a little lip on it for the lid. Your lid's also has the rubber gasket in your lid, and that, of course, I just told you that makes the airtight seal so that your canner will build pressure. Okay? Now, on here, there's several pieces and parts to this one. This is your gauge. This and your air vent all work together as a team. This is your weighted jiggler, or your weighted, I call it a jiggler. It is weighted. This one doesn't have a 5, 10, and 15 pound. This one, with this style of a canner, you either have to have a 5 pound weight, a 10 pound weight, or a 15 pound weight, and that's it. You can't use the universal one. That sits on there. All right, and this will release pressure. And this is where you can make sure that your canner is at the proper pressure you need it to be at. And you can adjust your heat, and then this will also help to release release steam from that. Okay, very important. I'm not fond of the gauge ones because you gotta babysit them. I'm so used to my other one that I can hear it, and I know whether I have to turn the heat up or down or whatever. But anyway, this is your vent pipe, like I told you before. This is your jiggler that fits on your vent pipe. Okay, this is your air vent lock. Okay, this thing, when you're in the beginning of your processing, when you turn your canner on, this is going to let steam. This is going to jiggle around a little bit, and it's going to let steam escape, or let steam escape your canner. When your canner starts building pressure, this will come up and it will lock. And literally, you will not be able to open this lid. It prevents you from opening this lid while there's still pressure in the canner. So it's a very good safety feature for those of you who are afraid that your canner is going to explode. Now, the only way you would be able to open this canner with this kind of an air vent lock is if it's faulty. Basically, that's the only way. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to open this canner. Okay? Here is your other safety feature on this canner. This is an air pressure overflow. Or an overpressure valve, excuse me. An overpressure valve. If your canner gets too much pressure, builds too much pressure, just say you walk away from it and you find out it's clear over into black on your gauge, it's over on, 20 pounds of pressure. Well, this most likely is going to blow right out of this lid, and it's going to release all the air pressure that's in your canner. Just ask Shannon. When we replaced this for her, don't ask me how I did it. I just put it in there, but it happened to be I put it in backwards. So when this canner started to build pressure, this was jiggling and releasing some steam. The gauge was showing that it was coming up, and this, just because it was in wrong, blew out, and it about scared the bejesus out of her. But anyway, you've got several safety features on this, and you should not be able to open this lid. I can't get the lid on there the way it's sitting. You should not be able to open this lid with pressure still in this canner. So don't worry about that. Don't be scared about that. I did tell you this also has a seal, a rubber gasket for a seal. I did show you that. So friends, if you want to start canning, do not be scared of your canner. A lot of times with the new canners they got out now, which I don't have a new canner, they have a little lever that locks down between the lid and the handle that will not release until all the pressure is out of that canner. So you don't have to worry about it. If you try to open it, it won't open. But rule of thumb, friends, rule of thumb is just a little common sense. It goes a long way. When you're done, when your canner is all done, your timer goes off, and you turn your canner off, you don't have to open that lid. You just turn your burner off and you leave it. Just leave it. It'll release all the pressure in time on its own. And then when you can comfortably put your hands on that lid without burning your hands, you know it's cool enough to open that lid. And that lid will open up, and you can remove your jars and put them on your counter on a towel. So it's really not that hard. People are so scared of it. But I don't want anybody to be scared of a canner. You've got two safety features on this, and there's no way you can open it with the pressure in it. So that is your equipment. Now, with this, you can buy a brand new canner. They're not cheap. I tell you, they're not cheap. They are very expensive. But it's going to be an investment that was going to well more than pay for itself, probably in the first year of using it. You can get a lot of these secondhand. This one happened to have been secondhand. I think Shannon paid $15 for this one at a yard sale. And now that we got the valve in right and it's got a good seal in it, I have used this a couple times just to make sure that it does good and that the gauge works good before I give it to Shannon, because I don't want her to be scared of it either. So this is perfect. This works beautifully. And it was secondhand. Sometimes you'll have one given to you. All these parts that are in these canners, even the water bath, the racks, the dial gauge, the vents, all the safety features, the rubber gasket, it's all replaceable. You can buy replacement parts. You can get them online. Like my Muro, I always get the gasket online. And I lost a jiggler at one time, so I had to have another jiggler. I bought that online. You can get all those parts for it right online. And you can replace it yourself and keep your canner smooth running. So that is probably it for the canners. It's real simple. Didn't take as long as the first video. And I will show you more as we do canning. As I do canning videos, I'll show you exactly how to use your canner. When you buy it, if you buy it brand new, please use the directions according to the manufacturer, how to get it, how to get your canner for its initial use. Like my rubber gasket always tells me, before I use my rubber gasket, when I buy them new, I gotta wash them in hot soapy water and put a little oil on it and then put it in my canner. It's just little things like that that help keep your canner running and operating the way it should be. So once we get going with some canning videos, I will show you exactly how to use your canners. And you're going to love it. It's going to save you a lot of money, especially if you get one that's, that's secondhand or used, that's in good condition. As long as you can find the serial numbers and the manufacturer somewhere on that canner, you can get replacement parts for it. It's so simple. And then with the utensils, you can get them, although I didn't, and I don't have it to show you, but you can get them in a kit. Like if you go to Walmart, you can buy your rings, your lids, your jars. You can buy all this stuff separate too, or you can get a kit and it's like anywhere from $8 to $10, and it's got the jar holder, it comes with a funnel, it comes with the magnetic wand, and it also comes with a debubbler. You need to have a debubbler. That is important too. I don't have that because I usually just use the end of mine, or a wooden spoon, or something that you can get into that jar and mix and remove the bubbles. But anyway, that's it. That's how simple this is, and there's not much to it. It's just a matter of putting your head down and diving right in it, friends. That's what I did when I was in my late teens. I think the first thing I ever canned was tomatoes, and I water bathed them, and it turned out fantastic, and I have been going ever since, and that's been quite a few years. So I hope you all get into it. But anyway, that's it for now. And then, like I said, when we start doing videos on canning, I will take you through the steps, and I'll show you everything that you need to do to pressure can. But that's it for these videos. I showed you, I told you all about canning 101 in my other video, and then this video was just strictly for the equipment. So there you have it, friends. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned a little bit from it. You all have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow.